Good afternoon, Villa fans. Let's take a little look at our next Europa League opponents in the last 16. It's them again. We've been drawn with Lille of France. First leg in France, second leg at Villa Park. Ties to be played on the 12th of March in Lille, and then the return leg on the 19th at Villa Park. So, yes, we obviously know Lille. We know the team from a few years ago from our Conference League antics, but knocking them out in what was that, the quarterfinals, I think it was, on penalties, when this man Emi Martinez made all the headlines. It was a mad game of football. The game itself, was a bit of a blur really, but the penalty shootout, Emi Martinez, got the red card. Was it a red card? We all learned a new sort of rule that day about yellow cards from the 90 minutes or 120 minutes not carrying over to the penalty shootout. It was a nuts game. I remember watching that on the sofa with my leg just going up and down, just watching it, so nervous and nerve-wracking at that point. But we've got them again. I think we're in better shape than we were then. I don't think they're the same team as they were then. They've lost quite a few key personnel players who have moved on to bigger teams for bigger fees. So let's take a little look at Lille. So currently sitting in 5th in Liga at the moment, 17 points off PSG, who are in first position. They have scored 36 goals, conceded 31, plus 5 goal difference, kind of middle of the table in terms of goal scoring and conceding. Not that great, not that bad, but that's how they are. Last 5 games, so obviously just recently overcame a 1-0 defeat at home to Red Star Belgrade, winning the second leg 2-0 in Belgrade to go through here after extra time as well. Olivier Giroud, this man here, kicking, still kicking ball and playing well and scoring goals. He must be close to 40 now. I think he's 39, in fact, but he's still getting amongst the goals, and we know that he can be a threat, especially anything in the box, aerially. He's not going to run away from you, but you give him half a chance and he knows how to score. So he got a goal early on, and then one of their centre-backs, Ngoy, scored a late winner for Lille to seal their passage through to this last 16 round. Previous to that, a 1-0 win against Angers in the French League. Again, Olivier Giroud scoring there. So that's 2-2 for him. The previous game to that, they lost at home to Red Star in the first leg. So they are not brilliant at home. And I'll come on to some other results that they've had at home, which hopefully will give Villa confidence that we can go to Lille and actually win there as well. Not just bringing it back to Villa Park and getting the win there. We can actually go to Lille. It's not the same kind of team. Maybe the hostility of the crowd, because I remember that being very, very a big factor in this game. Very loud, noisy, fireworks going off and all that sort of stuff before, but maybe it's not the same. I'm not too sure, but they lost 1-0 to Red Star in the first leg at home. Then they had a game, Lille-Brest, 1-1. Make your own joke there. A guy called Gaetano Perrin scoring for Lille. He's been one of their sort of new signings, and I'll come on to their sort of transfer business soon. And then their 5th game in this sequence was a 0-0 draw against Metz, where obviously we picked up Brian Maggio from. Didn't play in that game. This was before, I think this is when he actually joined Villa. And then if you look at their Europa League campaign, looking at the sort of results that they've had there, they had a 1-0 win against Freiburg, where again, Olivier Giroud scoring a penalty for them. They did lose 2-1 to Celta Vigo. And Celta Vigo, in fact, had a red card in that game on the 29th minute, but still went on to win 2-1. And again, Olivier Giroud getting the goal for them there as well. They did lose to Young Boys as well, and they did suffer a red card in that game after 32 minutes, which obviously didn't help, but lost to Young Boys of Bern. They beat Dynamo Zagreb 4-0. 4-0 in that game, and I believe that was the game. No, they got a red card against Young Boys. Bouadadi, who I'll come on to in a moment, a very exciting young player they've got in midfield. He got a red card on 32 minutes, which meant they lost 1-0 to Young Boys. And then a 4-0 win against Dynamo Zagreb. Then a 4-3 home defeat against PAOK from Greece. So again, this is what I'm saying. At home, they are not that great. They are beatable at home. PAOK have beaten them at home, and Red Star have beaten them at home in the Europa League just recently. But they did have an impressive away win against Roma, 1-0 against Roma, where Haraldsson scored their goal for them. So they can come up with these kind of results, but they're very inconsistent, is what I would say about Lille at this moment in time. Top goal scorers for them, Olivier Giroud is currently sitting on 9 goals. They bought in Hamza Ingamane from Glasgow Rangers, who's fitted in really well here, got 9 goals in 18 games, so 1 in 2. But he is currently out with an ACL injury, so he won't be back for these games. Haraldsson is also a good player, sitting on 6 goals and also 6 assists as well for the season. So 12 goal contributions from Haraldsson from midfield. High level, well, I won't say high level, hard working Icelandic midfield player. We had one of those before in Burka Bjarnason. You know, he just keeps running. But he can get up and down the pitch so well. Also, their assists, Felix Correa, a new signing for them on the wing. Exciting player, 6 assists for him, 6 for Haraldsson. And then another new signing, Pardo, has chipped in with 5 assists this season as well. Injury-wise, I mentioned there about Ingamane. He's out with an ACL injury, which will rule him out of both legs here. So we won't be facing him. More likely to face this man, well, this man over here, Giroud in your picture is probably leading the line for them. Thomas Meunier, experienced Belgian wing-back, is out with a hamstring injury. Whether he'll be back for this game, not too sure. And they've also got the brother of Kylian Mbappe, Ethan Mbappe, in their midfield as well. He's out, and according to Transfer Market, is ruled out until the 31st of March, which will rule him out of both legs for this with a dead leg. So I'm not sure if it takes that long to recover from the dead leg, but there you go. So Ethan Mbappe, we could be facing one of the Mbappes. Transfer business. So the incoming, Ingamane from Rangers, 11.5 million euros. Felix Correa from Gil Vicente from the Portuguese league, 7 million. Gaetan Perin from Krasnodar in Russia, even though he's a French player, 5 million. Berke Oza, the goalkeeper, they bought in from a Turkish team that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Eyopspor. Don't know. 4.5 million they bought him for, and he's been a good signing for them. Nathan Ngo, bought from Standard Liège for 3 million, and it was his goal that sent them through against Red Star. And then Olivier Giroud has obviously been that free pickup from LA Galaxy or LAFC or whatever that team is called now in the MLS, but they picked him up on a free, and he's doing really well for them. But the outgoings, and this is where, you know, the team has changed quite a lot since we last played them. So, you know, their goalkeeper last time round was Lucas Chevalier, a goalkeeper that we were linked with, that is signed for PSG. He hasn't done as well at PSG as many would have hoped. Cost them 40 million. So Lille selling him for 40 million to PSG. Diakate, centre-back for them, who actually scored the goal, I think, at Villa Park. He's now playing for Bournemouth, and they sold him for 35 million. So he's no longer there. Jugrova, hard-working Bosnian winger, is playing for Juventus now, and they sold him for 15 million to Juventus. Gudmundsson, Icelandic left back, gets up and down. He's now playing for Leeds, and we recently just played up against him. 11 million they sold him for. So a lot of these players played in the Conference League fixture, but are no longer there. Jonathan David, another one, the Canadian striker, left Lille, gone to Juventus on a free, in and out of the team there at Juventus at the moment. But so, you know, they've lost quite a few key players there. Chevalier, Diakate, Jugrova, Gudmundsson, Jonathan David. So the key players now coming through at Lille, they've got an 18-year-old midfield player called Ayub Boadade, I might have butchered that name. 18 years of age, 6'3", France under-21 international, getting rave reviews, linked with all the big teams across Europe. You know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, you name it, they're all looking at this guy. He's the next one to come through off the Lille kind of conveyor belt for sure. Haraldsson is also a key player for them. As I said, 12 goal contributions, 6 goals, 6 assists. You know, he can run for days up and down that midfield. He just does not stop running, Forrest Gump style. Felix Correa, the winger they picked up from Gil Vicente, 6 assists this season. Direct, quick, likes to get across into the box, can chip in with the odd goal here and there as well, but he'll be someone to look out for. And then obviously, the man in your picture here, Olivier Giroud. As I said, we know about him from his Arsenal days. Very dangerous striker in the box. Aerially very strong as well. We'll rely on sort of, the crosses coming in, set pieces coming in. So they'll have to feed him the right way. We play a high line against them. Hopefully we can squeeze the pitch up. Hopefully you won't be able to run away from us. And, if we have the Konsa and if it's Pau or Mings at the back, hopefully they can have enough, pace to deal with someone like Olivier Giroud. But Giroud does some good work with his back to goal as well, bringing in players. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game against Lille this time round. I'm hoping that we're going to have a few players back. Maybe John McGinn for this, perhaps. Maybe not for the first leg, but definitely the second leg, perhaps. So it all depends on, what the team is looking like. And hopefully we get a win tonight against Wolves to get a bit of confidence into the legs as well. But yeah, last time round against Lille, it was it wasn't a comfortable watch, is what I would say. When Matty Cash saw that goal, I jumped off the sofa. When Martinez made them penalty saves, I was jumping off the sofa. It was crazy times to be a Villa fan then in the Conference League, and hopefully, we can take it. Well, take it a little bit more easy, but hopefully it'll be a bit more easy on the heart, I reckon, for this game. We should have too much for them, is what I would say. But we need to up our game, both in the Premier League and not take this team for granted, for sure. So, guys, until the next one, I'll jump back on when there's team news tonight for the Wolves game. Do like and subscribe. Memberships are available. Hype up the channel. Hype up this video. Super thanks, all welcome. If you've enjoyed what you've heard for the last 12 minutes, then do let me know, and I'll be back with with proper in-depth kind of match previews closer to the fixture, with more concrete team news, more stats and things like that for you. But guys, until the next one, enjoy your Friday. Hopefully we get 3 points today. I'm predicting that we will. Tammy Abraham to score for sure. Until then, up the Villa.